making the guide block, cutting the curve, and drilling the hole into it. We had turned the dowel to size and laid out and cut the curve, which will guide the dowel through the guide block. Next, we have to get our steel plate to insert into the kerf in the guide block, which will guide the dowel. Now you want to insert the metal plate only about a third of the way down into the hole. If you stick it in halfway or more than that, the metal plate can wear away on the kerf and cause it to widen and ruin it. So once you stick the plate in, get a marker and mark the outline of the hole on the steel plate. Then you can take the plate out. You can see where I've marked. And then draw another circle or an arc inside of that, about as deep or a little bit deeper than the depth of the curve that you had cut into the dowel. And then that's the curve that we'll cut out. To cut out the curve in the plate, I'm going to use a very coarse file that has teeth on the edge as well as on the front, and a rat tail file to smoothen the curve. If you're doing a larger tap and therefore have a larger curve to cut out, you may want to use a hacksaw or something, but these files will be good enough for this. It's a good idea to bevel the corners off a little bit. Now I'll just use some sandpaper and maybe a smaller file just to clean off some of these burrs. Now that you have the curve and the metal plate cut out, stick the plate back in the curve. Make sure it's centered properly inside the hole there. And then the next two steps you can do in either order. Next thing you have to do is drill 2 holes through the wood and through the plate to stick 2 dowels, and these will hold the metal plate in position. And you also need to cut the metal plate off to size. You may remember that I'm going to be doing this guide block slightly different than my previous one. Each guide block needs to have a notch cut into it for wood chips to clear out of. For this guide block, I'm going to be adding these 2 blocks onto it instead of cutting a notch into it. This will give a better place for clamps to go when you attach the guide block onto a piece that you're going to tap. So to attach these, I'm just going to use some glue and nails. At this point, the guide block for the tap is all done. We've put the blocks on here to create the clearance for the blade as it exits the workpiece, and we've inserted the metal plate, which will catch the kerf in the dowel. Next we got to work on the dowel for the tap, cutting out the mortise and making the blade and the wedge that will go in the mortise. After that, the entire tap is done and ready for use.